What up, though? This your boy DOC, and I got a very, very special guest on the platform today. If you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself and where you from.
This is Edrick Doc, and people might know me as ED from Southwest Detroit, New York, Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy.
Word. Well, I greatly appreciate, having you on the platform today. I know we got a lot to discuss. It's been a lot of things that's been coming out on the platform as of recently, dealing with the BMF and the 50 Boys and everything. I do want to start off by asking you, after being in the background for so many years, what made you want to come out and talk now?
Well, Doc, I was hearing a whole lot of things that I didn't like. It was things that I wanted to straighten out and make clear. It was stuff that it was made up. I believe they had good intentions, but I'd rather be on that real tip. So you're going to hear from the horse's mouth. This is the truth, no lies, from my point of view or what happened.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we could go ahead and start back at the very beginning. So where were you actually born at?
Okay, let me say this first and foremost, Doc. What we talking about, this is 35 years ago, okay? I was born in Detroit. My mother moved us to New York, Brooklyn, when I was 3. So my sister was maybe 4 or 5. She thought moving us there would get me and my sister, I guess, away from this type of life. Because it started off with my father, my grandfather, actually. They called him Flap, and he was a big number holder out there in Southwest Detroit. He had the biggest book out there, so he was known, the Boyds was known for that. And my father, he was a professional boxer, but he also was in that game. And he died playing Russian roulette. Yeah, that's crazy. He died playing Russian roulette. He was a fierce dude, man. I mean, nobody fucked with him when it came to ED, because that's where originally ED came from. His name was Edgar Dallas. Then, the name just got passed on to me. I also had an uncle, which was my father's brother, Eric. He was also in their life as well. He got killed as well in the game over there on Dexter and Claremont, found in an apartment building. I also had a cousin, Ronnie Harris. He was a professional boxer. He also fought in the Olympics. So everybody that know my family is from back then, they know what I'm saying is real. I was brought up with, around that. It was in my blood. But, when my mother moved us to New York after my father died playing Russian roulette, she thought, I guess it would be a different life for me and my sister. As it turned out, it wasn't. I was moved there and I caught my first case when I was 10 years old on the rails tagging, for my set. I grew up and was raised in the game from the New York point of view from this dude named Caesar. He was a Puerto Rican dude, where I lived at, it was Puerto Ricans, blacks and Jamaicans. And Caesar, he was big time back then. And I grew up watching him and all that. And he put me down as I was on the roofs watching. We had pigeon coops up there. I took care of those for him and being a watch out as far as on the corner, riding my bike up and down the street. New York, every block was your playground. You know what I'm saying? We played stick ball in the middle of the street, and sewer plate was our home plate. We also played a game called Tops, where you fill bottle tops with asphalt and you shooting them from box to box. It was a life that I grew up with doing out there, and to the point Caesar took a liking to me because he seen that I was hungry and he trusted me.
So basically after a while, due to your hungerness and stuff like that, like you moved up. Like how did you, just Caesar was someone just in your neighborhood and y'all just randomly ran across each other? Like how did y'all actually meet each other?
Oh yeah, I mean, he set his shop up on my block. It was like a 3-4 block radius, and he was the man there. Anybody that was doing something, that was Caesar shit. And like I said, I was in his face every day, sometimes skipping school to be in his face. So that's how that turned out. And he took me under his wing. I went, like I said, being rooftop corner watches, a bag man, a higher degree in his organization.
Right. And this was basically still like in your early teenage years. So when...
Yes. I started off fucking with Caesar and that life. I was young, man. Like I said, I was like 8, 9 years old. When you're in that game, back then, man, you had babies, man. You know what I'm saying? They recruited babies, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was alive, and I always was considered a New Yorker because I wasn't considered no outsider. Because when I went there, I was 3 years old. Everybody, you know, just knew I was born there. I had that accent. I talked like that. So, you know, I wasn't considered outsider. People, you know, they liked me. I was just taken care of well.
Right. So was there a particular situation or anything that made you move back to Detroit?
Well, I believe it was a few things. My mother saw what moving there, that really, it didn't help the situation none. So I figured, I think she figured, you know, she might as well just going back home where the majority of our family was. We had family in New York, but they was basically on Long Island, her father, and they was basically on Long Island. And also I think that contributed to it. My sister was getting into things that my mother didn't want. I would have to go find her. She was running away and all that. And I would have to go. I always knew where she was at. Because like I said, the streets was behind me. I knew where to go. And if I didn't, you know, I went to my man Caesar and he would find her for me. But I believe that contributed to it as well. You know, I'm not downing what my sister did, but it's just that life of New York. My mother wanted us, she kept us dressed. I mean, we didn't want for nothing. I really didn't have to do what I was doing, but you young and you see that going on, man, you want a taste. You can't help to get that taste, and then you gonna get either jumped in, or you gonna get fucked with every day. So you had to make that choice as well.
Right. Yeah. So basically it became, besides just your sister, your mom ended up being able to see kind of what you were doing.
Yes, of course. Yeah, she was seeing what I was doing because, like I said, I started skip school, and when I caught that rail case, she sat me down. You know, she did that talk, but I didn't listen. My mind was on something else. She just, after that, 5-6 years after that, she came with that moving back to home. I'm not gonna say home, moving back to Detroit, because actually when we did move back, I still kept in touch with, you know, my homies back then and whatever. And I still, like I said, we had family, and my excuse to go back was to visit the family we had there.
Right. So leading up to them last couple of years before coming back to Detroit, were you already like kind of connecting the dots back before you even came home to continue in the game, or you didn't want, or when you came home, you wanted to start fresh? Okay,
well, I didn't, when I left, doing that thing in Detroit wasn't on my mind, you know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking, man, you know, I'm going to say this. I was like, yeah, okay, well, we'll go back, but I'm coming back. I'm going back to New York. I'm not staying. I didn't want to make the transition, but, you know, I'm young. I had to do what I listened to my mother because I respected my mother because she raised us as a single mother, and she did a damn good job. Like I said, you know, she kept us fresh, kept us, we was in, we had all the newest fashions and all that. You know, no problem with eating, nothing like that. I had to respect a woman like that.
Right. That's dope. I'm glad she did what she had to do, and it was just you and your sister.
Yeah, it was me and my sister Yasmin. I have actually another sister, Juanita. She's my stepsister, but she wasn't in New York with her. She's always stayed in Detroit.
So basically, when you moved back to Detroit, you were staying on the west side?
No, actually, when we moved back, the first time we moved back from New York, my mother bought a house on Liddesdale. Okay, so we stayed there. That's where we stayed at, on Liddesdale. And I didn't go to Southwestern. I went to Ecorse because, like, she thought that was a better school for me to go to. She always looking out for me as far as that education side and wanted the best for me. So she thought Ecorse was a better school than Southwest Detroit, that I could, you know, it was not more, I don't know, she thought it was a better school for me to go to. So I lived on Liddesdale, but I went to Ecorse High. My grandparents still stayed on Bassett and Salliet. So I would walk down Salliet every day going to school, you know, stopping by there, whatever. But yeah, I stayed on Liddesdale. And after that, a couple of years, my mother, she got a real nice job, and she bought a house on Oakman and Timing, you know, those big houses over there by Dearborn. And but we're right across from, you know, like where all the Arabs and shit stay at. Okay, we had a nice house over there. So, and I was still going to Ecorse, of course, you know, because I was driving. You know, she had a car. As soon as I turned 16, whatever, right, and I was able to get a permit, I'm driving. So I was driving at 14, 15, 16. I was driving. We stayed over there, and I still went to Ecorse.
So from that transition of going to Ecorse, did you start off, did you get back connected to the game, or was there like a certain situation that made you get back into it?
Okay, well, I didn't hang in Ecorse. Actually, my family had a car wash on Joy Road in Quincy, okay, on the west side. So I worked and hung out up there. And I always used to run into this dude. I don't want to say his name. I ran into this dude, and I would always say, man, I seen he was in the game and all that, man. Come on, you know, put me down, man. Put me down, put me down. Eventually, I got introduced to that life when I was in high school from him. And this is a part of when I was with Bear. Yeah, he had a brother named Huggy Bear, and it was Bear. Bear was not the younger brother, but he was under Huggy. And I was in his set. And that's when you see motherfuckers on the corner with the army fatigue, and, you know, from the boots all the way up to the hat and all that. We used to have this building on Walton, okay? And we had the whole building. It was like a 4-story building. We had the whole building. I used to work in the building, you know. Back then, it was about you sticking it through the hole, and they give you your money, and you was barricaded in them motherfuckers. And once you in there for your duration, how long you gonna be in there till somebody replace you. So me and my boy, we was in there, so we dealing with this. I mean, it was a situation that I really didn't like. You staying in there sometimes 24 hours, sometimes more than that. You dealing with rats, roaches. I mean, it was a condemned building, and we took it over. That's where we were at. So did that throughout that situation dealing with Bear, was that the progression to end up dealing with kind of YBI or Sneed from YBI? Okay, let me get into that like this. I kept going at Bear and saying, look, man, we need to do this shit out there, Southwest Detroit, Ecorse Ridge, man. And they was like, where? What the fuck is that? They wasn't with it. They didn't think it was. I said, man, I'm telling you, man, it's for the opening, man. It's wide open, man. We can just take that bitch, okay? So, but they wasn't going for it. I was groomed from Caesar on back from New York, from my blood, from my people, because we were all bosses. You know, we were never followers. My aim is to be a boss. Okay, I just took off, did my thing.
Oh, so you just went ahead, even though they wasn't down with it. You went over there to the Southwest Ecorse Road by yourself and got it going.
Yes, I did. And the transaction, it wasn't as simple as you may think. Once I went and they seen what was happening, he wanted to get involved. I took a lot of people that I had that was you know down with me. They went with me and all that, and he didn't like it. And it was an incident that we was in a hotel out there. Me and this cat named Jan, man. Jan, he stayed on Bassett, and we was in there doing our thing, you know, whatever. It was like a spot for us, but that's where we, you know, did our thing and prepared for it to go out or whatever. Anyway, but Bear showed up to the hotel with a couple of guys to wreck